Hey everyone, I'm Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing yoga for a stronger core. So I wanted to bring you guys a little bit more of a physically challenging class today because I know we've been doing a lot more slow flow stuff here on the channel, which I bring you a lot of those practices to really help you deepen your yoga practice because yoga is so much more than just strengthening. But I get that sometimes you kind of just want a strengthening class, and that's what I'm bringing to you today. Of course, we'll still be making this mindful, connecting our breath. We'll do a little meditation at the end of practice, but we will be really focusing on that core strength today. And last thing before we get into the practice, remember your core is more than your abs. So you'll be learning that as we go through today. We'll be focusing on 4 of our major core muscles, which I'll teach you as we're going through it. But yeah, with all that said, we'll get started laying on our backs today. Okay, so laying on your back, knees bent, feet planted on the floor. You can have the feet hip width apart. Place the hands on your abdomen, and we're gonna start with some diaphragmatic breathing. One, to just bring us into the present moment for practice. But the diaphragm is actually one of our core muscles, and when we belly breathe in the way that I'm going to be showing you, we are using this muscle properly. All right, so if you want to close your eyes, and you're going to take a nice deep inhale, and as you inhale, allow the belly to fill with air. And then as you exhale, allow the belly to fall back down. Nice deep inhale, belly fills with air. And exhale, belly falls back down. Keep going like that at your own pace, in and out through the nose, really focusing on your inhales, on trying to get most of the movement coming through the abdomen, right? The chest isn't moving very much. And making sure you're keeping a neutral spine, slight space between your low back and the ground. Go ahead and take one more breath here. And then just come back to your comfortable pace of breathing. The eyes can blink open, hands are gonna plant down at your sides. We're gonna do bridges. So we'll do a couple bridges to warm up, and then we're gonna add in a little pelvic floor strengthening with it because the pelvic floor is also part of your core. All right, so let's just warm up first, moving through our bridge. So press down through the heels, start to lift the hips up to the sky. Keep the knees hip width apart. Don't let the knees fall in toward one another. And then lower yourself back down. Let's do that with the breath. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, lift into your bridge. And inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. One more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, relax down, breathe. An option to add in a Kegel. If you don't know how to Kegel properly, just do the bridge without the Kegel. I know Kegels sound simple, right? It's just a pelvic floor squeeze, a pelvic floor contraction, but there's a lot of things that people can do wrong when it comes to Kegels. So if you're unsure how to do them or if they're even right for you, I will link a video in the description down below so you can learn more after. So if you are Kegeling, we'll Kegel on the lift of the bridge. And again, you could just leave it out if you'd like. So inhale to prepare. As you exhale, lift the hips and pull the pelvic floor up and in, Kegeling. And as you inhale and lower, you can let that pelvic floor contraction go. Okay, exhale, lift, Kegel, pull the pelvic floor up and in. Inhale as you lower, let the Kegel go, let your pelvic floor relax. Keep going at your own pace like that, again, with or without the Kegel. And making sure that the breath is flowing through the whole motion. So do not hold your breath. And let's go for 3 more reps here. Last rep. Good. Once you're back down on the ground, if you were doing the Kegels, check in with the pelvic floor, let it relax, come back to resting, and everyone just let the knees shift side to side, little windshield wipers for a moment, and then we're gonna move to an abdominal exercise, which I know a lot of us think of that as the core. When we strengthen the abdominals in terms of really trying to focus on deep core stability, we're gonna work on our transverse abdominis. So it's a really deep core muscle. All right, so go ahead and bring your legs into tabletop. You're gonna have a slight space between your low back and the ground. And I want you to think about pulling your navel down and in toward your spine. So your core is really active here. Make sure you're breathing. Do not hold your breath. If this is enough for you, maybe you just want to hold here, just breathing in and out the nose. If you want more, you're going to start to tap one heel down and then pull it in. And then the other heel taps and you pull it in, okay? So connect your breath with movement. Inhale as you tap down. Exhale as you pull in. Inhale, tap. Exhale, in. Keep going at your own pace, focusing on really knitting that abdominal wall down and in so that belly button's pulling down toward the ground. Keep that slight space between your low back and the ground so your spine's in neutral, and you're just tapping the heels, so you're not resting the foot on the ground. Keep the breath flowing. Let's do 3 more on each side. You got this. One more each side. Good. Once you're done, option to hug the knees in. Just shift yourself side to side. Let the breath come back to a comfortable pace. And then rolling, or first placing the feet down, rolling to your side. Walk your way up. Meet me on all fours, so on your hands and knees. Okay, so on your hands and knees, we'll transition right to downward dog to move into some standing poses where we're going to really get the core engaged while we're doing our poses. So step the hands about a palm print forward, toes tuck under, lift the knees, send the hips up to the sky. Take a moment in your downward dog, just settle in here. And you can even think about getting that deep abdominal activation by pulling the navel in and finding that little lift. See, as you pull the navel in, as you really lengthen through the spine, the hips lift to the sky. Breathe, right? Make sure you're breathing. Good, and then you're gonna step the left foot to the center line. Start to move into plank as you hug the right knee in toward your chest. Hold that there. Breathe, push the floor away, core is strong. And then step the right foot forward between your hands. Drop the back knee down, untuck your toes, lift up into low lunge. Okay, breathe here. So, in low lunge, a lot of times it can seem a little bit like a stretch, but let's keep this really active. So thinking about your inner thighs squeezing together, they're not actually moving, that's just the motion or the activation you're thinking about. So thinking about each inner thigh squeezing together, lifting you up a little taller through the pelvis, okay? And keeping that abdominal contraction. So it doesn't have to be a super hard contraction here, just lightly pulling the abdomen in to keep yourself nice and strong. Breath is fluid, keep breathing, 2 more breaths. Float the hands down to the hips, okay? Place the hands down to border the right foot. Tuck under the back toes, lift your back knee, lift up, high lunge, crescent lunge. Breathe. Really, same idea in high lunge, it's just a little stronger. So again, imagining those inner thighs pulling in toward one another, lifting you up a little higher through the torso. Deep abdominal muscles are engaged. Arms reach, breathe. One more breath. Hands plant down, bordering right foot. Step back to downward dog. Okay, settle into your downward dog for a second. Breathe, and if you want to let the abdomen relax a little bit here, you can still stay strong, but you don't have to do that, hard pull in of the navel. Step the right foot to the center line. Pull the left foot in into plank, and now the abdominals again will kick on, holding the left knee here. Push the floor away. Breathe. And then step the left foot between your hands. Drop back knee, untuck back toes, lift up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Find connection with your breath. Inner thighs activate, pull together. Spine grows tall. You're strong here, so we're not sinking into this low lunge. It's a really active low lunge. One more breath. Hands float down, border left foot, tuck under back toes, lift your back knee, lift up, crescent lunge. Breathe. Remembering your activation, inner thighs are pulling together. Core is strong and really pressing through the back heel here. 3 breaths. Okay, hands float down, border the left foot, step it back, down dog, take a breath, taking this as a rest pose, and then shifting forward into plank. So you might want to step the feet a little further back, rock forward to plank, so plank on the hands, spine is straight, abs pull up and in, neck is in neutral. Breathe. Keep the breath steady. 2 more breaths. Drop to the knees. Sit back to kneeling. Take a moment. Let yourself relax for a moment. Feeling the effects of those movements so far. So even though it's a more physically challenging yoga flow, still just tapping into how you feel in your body, in the mind, maybe your energy. So just being present here, right? Still making this a mindful experience. Okay, 2 more core strengthening things and then we get to stretch. Okay, so cross feet behind you, or rock forward, cross feet behind you, come back to sitting. Okay, we're gonna do boat pose, Navasana. You have a couple stages here that you can do, all right? So stage 1, your feet, your knees are bent, feet planted in front of you. Hold on to the shins, sit up tall, okay? Make sure you're keeping this nice straight spine. Reach the hands out in front. You're gonna hinge back, but you're hinging back with a flat back. So you hinge back this way. You're not rounding, all right? Spine stays flat, you hinge back. That's stage 1, okay? Feel those deep abdominal muscles kicking on, pulling the navel into the spine. Stage 2, the feet lift. Okay, knees are bent. Breathe. Stage 3, straighten knees. Keep lifting through the heart space. 3 breaths, whatever variation you're in. And then drop the feet down. Okay, stay where you are here. The last muscle, core muscle we need to hit for today is our lower back, all right? So your low back muscles are just as important as the deep abdominals in your core strength, okay? So Feet are back in front, kind of how we started boat pose. The hands are going to be behind you, fingertips facing towards your butt. We're going to do 2 variations. First, we'll do reverse tabletop, then you'll have the option for reverse plank. So for reverse tabletop, you're going to press down through the heels, lift the hips up to the sky. Keep a slight little bend in your elbows. Keep your neck in neutral. Breathe. Feet are hip width apart. Knees are in line with ankles. Bringing your awareness to your lower back muscles, holding you to stabilize you here. Glutes are going to work too. Let's take one more breath. And then lower down. You got one more. So you could either do reverse tabletop again, or if you want reverse plank, straighten the legs out. You can bring the legs together. Hands are in the same position. You'll lift up, and as you lift, roll the toes or point the feet so the toes are pointing down. Keep a slight bend in the elbows. Breathe. Two more breaths. And lower yourself down. Everyone come to cross the legs, come to all fours, step yourself back to downward dog. Three breaths, downward dog. Come through plank. Either drop the knees and lower down, or if you want to lower from here, keep the elbows tucked in, lower yourself down to the ground, and then propping up into Sphinx pose, so on the forearms. Okay, breathe here. Really let the lower body relax. Press down through the elbows. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Two more breaths. We'll stretch it out now. And then lower yourself down. Option to do Sphinx again, like we just did, or if you want high cobra, hands under shoulders. Press through the palms. Just don't lock the elbows at the top. Keep them slightly bent. Keep the lower body relaxed. Breathe. One more breath. Lower yourself down. From here, press yourself all the way back to a child's pose. Let's do wide leg child's pose. So the toes are going to be together, knees go out wide, arms reach out in front, forehead relaxes down. Let go. And again, taking a moment in this pose to just rest, check in with the body, allow the practice to integrate within. Three breaths. And then walk yourself back up, coming to a seated position. You can stay in kneeling, you can move to easy pose, taking a moment to bring ourselves back to the internal world and just taking a moment for rest. So eyes closed, backs of the hands rest on the thighs, sit up tall, breathe, and just letting any muscles that you don't need to use to hold you up here relax. Really resting through the abdomen, right? We did a lot of work there. letting the pelvic floor relax. There's still going to be muscles working to hold you here, but in general, finding that sense of relaxation. Going within, checking in with the breath, trying to breathe with the belly. So inhale, the belly expands. Exhale, the belly comes back in. Breathing like this at your own pace. Being curious about how you feel after this practice. Noticing that without any judgment. Taking a final moment here, maybe dropping in a little deeper into your internal worlds. And then let's just take one more breath together. Bring the hands into prayer at the center of the heart. Take a nice deep inhale all the way down into the belly, using that diaphragm. Exhale, let it go. Return to your comfortable breath. Hands release down, eyes blink open. Thank you so much for practicing with me here today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like practicing with me, you want to go deeper into your yoga practice, you want longer practices that are closer to an hour long, then I think you'll really like my Patreon. Over there, we have a topic each month that we go into. We talk about it, we do a meditation on it, and you get a nice long yoga flow on that topic where we put that into our bodies. So I will put a link to that in the description down below. Otherwise, thank you for practicing with me. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and just thank you for being here. Namaste.